On today's episode of Home Media Minefield, I'll be reviewing the Blu-ray release of The Shawshank Redemption. Coming up. Hello, I'm Keith and welcome to Home Media Minefield, helping you with information to navigate the complexities of home cinema and home media entertainment. And today I'm going to be looking at the Warner Brothers Blu-ray release of The Shawshank Redemption, the 1994 prison drama directed by Frank Darabont. Now, this movie's been released a number of times on home media, be it DVD or Blu-ray over the years. And currently there is no 4K UHD release planned as of yet. Now, the version that I unboxed in a previous video was the Warner Brothers Limited Edition Collector's Series, which included a booklet, some postcards and a poster. However, in terms of the disc and contents itself, from what I've managed to find out, the Blu-ray release is exactly the same globally, wherever you get it from, with the only differences being some of the cover art on the packaging. Now, I will, as always, put some links down below as to where you can find these. And first up, as always, with the picture quality on this. So the Blu-ray high-def picture on this release is indeed very clear and looks great. It has a very natural look and is very contrasty due to the great cinematography of the excellent Roger Deakins. Stylistically, the film involves a lot of close-ups, and the quality on this release is so good that you can really pick out the individual details of the characters' faces. So I think as far as a high-def transfer goes, this picture is doing really well. Next up, with the audio quality, and the Blu-ray gets an improvement also on this side of things as well, because you get a Dolby True HD 5.1 mix included on this. So this 5.1 track had some great separation and was really noticeable. Everything from the prison echo to Thomas Newman's excellent score through to Morgan Freeman's wonderful voice. The upgrade to the audio on this version was very noticeable. Now, onto the special features side. There isn't really anything new here as such. Most things were taken from the 2004 DVD release marking the 10th anniversary of the film. But having said that, the extras that we get here are quite comprehensive. So first up, you get a 2004 audio commentary by director Frank Darabont. Now, this was actually the first audio commentary that he recorded in his career, and I have to say he's a real natural at it and gives absolutely loads of information about all aspects of the production. He gives us tidbits throughout, like when you see inserts of hands, it's often his own hands that he did to save time, and he's very good at complimenting all the cast and crew throughout this and admitting how much they brought to the project to make his film really shine. He talks about his relationship with Stephen King and how he originally approached Stephen King to do one of his short films as the famous Dollar Shorts, and how at the time he asked Stephen King whether he could have a crack at doing a screenplay for this short story. He talks about the changing of the title from Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption to just The Shawshank Redemption. He explained how the original title caused a lot of confusion within Hollywood and how many people thought it was a Rita Hayworth biopic, and how he even started getting agent submissions for actresses to play Rita Hayworth. He also talks about the changes that he had to make to the book to make the film work and expand it into a feature-length adaptation. He says how Castle Rock Entertainment were really supportive of him throughout this entire process, and how even though it was early in his career, Castle Rock still gave him director's cut of this film. He did explain though that it was actually Castle Rock that suggested the very ending of the film, because he was going to actually end it earlier, and how he agrees that that was indeed the correct decision. He talks about the fact that there are no deleted scenes on the home media release of this, and simply because any scenes that he didn't include for a reason, and he said he didn't feel that he wanted to show how bad some of his choices were in a deleted scenes section. So pretty much as you see the movie now is all you're ever going to see. He also does point out that one shot he digitally modified for the DVD release because there had been a continuity error that he had made, and it always bugged him throughout the theatrical release. So all of these home media releases are slightly altered on just one shot. I'll let you watch the commentary to find out what that small detail is. And he explains that the dedication at the end was to his first agent that gave him his first break in Hollywood, who sadly died just before the release of the movie. All round, this is a top-notch commentary. Next up, you get a 30-minute 2004 retrospective documentary called Hope Springs Eternal, a look back at the Shawshank Redemption. Now, this is largely a sort of talking heads documentary with quite a number of cast and crew members sharing their memories of the production. There isn't really any behind the scenes footage here, though there are some behind the scenes stills that are inserted into these interviews. They basically talk about the memories of filming it, the eeriness of the actual prison location, the disappointment upon its original theatrical release, even though it got nominated for 7 Academy Awards and didn't win any, and how it really found its life on VHS and then later on DVD, leading to the legacy that we have now. Next up, you get a 50-minute documentary called The Redeeming Feature from 2001. Film journalist Mark Kermode visits Mansfield, Ohio, where the original prison location was, and gets to interview not just cast and crew, but also some of the locals. The interviews include former inmates and prison guards, and he gets a tour of the actual prison itself, which is pretty run down since it closed. And they point out which parts were actually used during the filming and which parts inspired sets that were later built in a warehouse. Now, Mark Kermode talks also about this film and how it found its life on VHS, and cites that many other classics such as Citizen Kane, It's a Wonderful Life, Casablanca, and even Star Wars weren't critical hits when they were first released. It's good to get a tour of the location and speak to some of the locals about the legacy that this film has left. And they talk very much about how for many people this film has become a beacon of hope when going through dark times in their lives, and how many people use it almost as therapy as well as a piece of entertainment. So I really like some of the themes that this really well-crafted documentary digs into. Then you get an excerpt from 2004 from The Charlie Rose Show, where Charlie Rose interviews Frank Darabont, Morgan Freeman and Tim Robbins regarding the legacy of the film. Now, there is a lot of information repeated here that you get on the interviews and the previous 2 documentaries, but you know, for completest sake, it's really good that Warner included this on this Blu-ray package. You then get a 25-minute short film from 2000 called The Shark Tank Redemption, which is a parody of the movie starring Alfonso Freeman, Morgan Freeman's real-life son. Now, this centres around a trainee assistant doing time at a agency in Hollywood, dreaming of escaping to become a writer and film producer. It kind of follows the same beats as The Shawshank Redemption, only in cubicles within this Hollywood agency, and really does poke fun at the industry. It's quite amusing, and from what I can find out, this was the newest thing that was added to the Blu-ray release that wasn't on previous DVD releases. You then get various stills and storyboard galleries, as well as the theatrical trailer rounding off this package. Now, as I said, from my research, it does seem that wherever you buy this, you get exactly the same special features. As I said, many of them ported from the 2004 DVD release. The only thing that seemed different was on a release that they had in Hong Kong, there seems to be 10 minutes of behind the scenes footage included on that as well. Now, I haven't been able to confirm whether that's actually anything different or not. It's fair to say that between these retrospective documentaries, the commentaries and the plethora of stills from the film, you probably get pretty much everything that there is. Okay, so how would I go about scoring this release? I have to say, overall, I'm pretty impressed with this release. I love the film, obviously, but in terms of the picture on this, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Okay, it's not a 4K UHD release with high dynamic range, etc. But as I've already stated, the transfer on this is very clean and natural looking. For the audio, I'm also going to give this a 4 out of 5. As I stated, the 5.1 mix that they've put on this has great separation and again works really well. Okay, it could have maybe had a Dolby Atmos or DTS-X mix, but I'm pretty satisfied with the audio on this release. And then for the special features, I'm also going to give that a 4 out of 5. Okay, there was nothing new included on this that hadn't been on previous releases, but bearing in mind that most of those documentaries are retrospectives anyway, what more are you going to say about this film that wasn't said at the 10th anniversary? The commentary by Frank Darabont is excellent. The Mark Kermode documentary in particular is very good on this. And the parody short film is a lot of fun. I think it's worth a 4 out of 5. So overall, that gives a respectable 12 out of a possible 15 for this release. If you're a fan of the movie, I do recommend it. As I said, I will put some links below as to where you can find this, including the collector's edition, which I believe is limited. And that brings me to the end of another home media minefield. If you found this information useful, then please do hit that thumbs up for a like, consider subscribing to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss anything moving forward. And please do follow and share on social media. I post videos weekly, whether they're unboxings or reviews, but if there's anything in particular that you'd like me to cover on this channel, then please do put that in the comments below and I'll see what I can do to help. But in the meantime, I thank you for your time today, and I will speak to you at the next home media minefield. And remember, get busy living. Bye for now.